Good Tuesday morning, ladies and gentlemen, saints, Christmas Eve, as some call it. We have a really fun, awesome episode lined up for you today. We have a guest in the studio, Austin Falter from Falter Media.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
And Austin reached out. He's like, yo, I went to 2 movies with my kids within a week, Zootopia 2 and the new Angel Studios movie, David. And there's some things we got to talk about. So today's episode is all going to be about kids media and the importance of rearing our children in truth and righteousness. I'm really excited to get into it. All this and more. My name is Jackson Wayne Paul, and welcome to Latter Daily Saints.
What power shall stay the heavens from pouring down knowledge from heaven upon the heads of the latter-day saints?
Okay, Austin, dude, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm always down to nerd out about movies, but especially kids movies.
Exactly.
So,
and for context, how many kids do you have?
I got 2 kids, 2 boys, 5 and 2.
Awesome. Yeah. 5 and 2.
Yeah.
5 and 2. That's
chaos.
Significant. 5 and 2 studios. 5 loaves, 2 fishes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It adds up to 7. Anyways, I don't know. I'm getting picked up on that. But guys, for your essay, to give you a little context of the worldview that Austin Falter is going to be sharing his ideas from.
Deeply bigoted worldview.
He made a supercut of all of the kids' shows that he usually shows to his kids.
Don't pin this on me. I never seen this in my life.
And so he sent me the supercut. It was a little questionable, but it's basically a mashup of all of these scenes from kid shows that he usually shows to his kids. So we're going to show you this. It's like 4 minutes long, but this will give you an idea of not only the content that your kids are exposed to, but specifically Austin Falter's children are exposed to.
Oh boy.
You'll understand what's going on. Let's roll the supercut that Austin definitely made.
All righty.
I want to do it as myself. After all, you always say to lead with your heart, right? Well, my heart says that the way I feel most myself is to go by the name Fred. That's because I'm non-binary, and Fred is the name that fits me best. And I also use they and them, because calling me a she or a he doesn't feel right to me.
Okay, that's
where do you find this?
That's really inclusive, Austin. And keep playing.
Where do you find this? Where are these from, Brandon?
Oh,
what have we done?
On kids' channels. They go to Disney Plus, all of it. Just watch.
I'm sorry I used the wrong name and pronouns. Thank you for showing me your heart. Yes, you were trying to tell me something before.
Oh, this is from the Jurassic World animation on Netflix.
The truth is, Sammy, I've fallen for you. Like, hard. I know. I heard you earlier.
Aww.
I just wanted to hear you say it again because I've been wanting to hear you say that since I don't even know when.
I'm Sam. I'm she, they, but you already know that. It's okay. I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
Non-binary?
People who aren't female or male. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have assumed.
I always knew my pronouns felt right, but what a wonderful word for a wonderful experience.
Now I know why it's called Transform.
That is Jonathan Van Ness.
Elmo, Cookie, are you ready to see my monster piece?
I'm ready.
Mama Bear, some runway music, please. People and monsters alike, a round of applause for the Not Too Late Show's newest monster, Alan.
Time for a pride parade.
Oh, it's my favorite one.
Families marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. Families marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. This family has 2 mummies. They love each other so proudly, and they all go marching in the big parade. Families marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. Families marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. This family has 2 daddies. They love each other so proudly, and they all go marching in.
There's something I need to tell you. The princess who came to your ball tonight
was me. I'm Gonzarella.
I say we get rid of this old royal handbook and make a better one.
All right, so I know that was kind of tough to get through, but kind of that's the media that goes on in the Falter family. And it's accompanied by this new book that Austin just published. It's called A Child's Introduction to Pride. So that was all a parody.
I don't know. My heart rate went from like 0 to 100 real quick. Oh my God.
Things that could be commentated about all of those. Those are literally on Netflix, on Disney right now. You can go look it on YouTube. That different Blue's Clues episode, a Blue's Clues Pride Parade. That was from Sesame Street. This stuff is in your child's media. And there was a bunch of Cocomelon stuff that we didn't fit in there. It was already a 4.5-minute video. But, wow, there's no hiding the fact that they are trying to inundate our children with the doctrination that comes from the world. One of the funniest things that I thought of when they said, let's get this throw away this rule.
Throw away the rule book.
Yeah, just think about, let's throw away the Bible and
make
a whole new rule book that says that all of this stuff is good. And it's sacrificing truth and righteousness on the altar of empathy and compassion and affirmation for new popular ideas that are found in the world today.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Hug your children. Wow.
Thanks for
my
goodness. It. Yes. So now Austin Falter, he actually is a really good guy. He published this book, that always happens, called The Family, A Rhyming Proclamation for Kids. Austin, why'd you do this, bro?
Well, I threw out the old rule book, the Family Proclamation that hangs on your wall, because your kids are going to fall asleep if you try to read them that. No, I'm just kidding. I love the Family But no, when you try to lecture your kids about it, it's not going to be very effective. So I'm like, how can we, reach children? And that's through stories. It's through, these TV shows probably are reaching a lot of children. It's because they're telling stories. We need to do that with true doctrine. And so we took the Family Proclamation, made it rhyme, gave it great illustrations and a story to go with it, and it's been fun.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome, and it's something that all of my friends, like I said before on the channel, my wife and I aren't yet parents, but I have a lot of friends that have young kids, and it's something that I have been so excited to give every single one of them, because it is one, super well done. It has great images and stuff like that, great rhyming, but also every single page is just based in eternal truth. And it shows that teaching these things to your kids can be a fun, entertaining process. And I'm really grateful that you put this together. So what possessed you to reach out to me and be like, yo, I watched these two movies? And for people that aren't familiar, what are the two movies that you went and saw with your family? And
So, there's a few movies out in theaters right now, and I never go to the movies, but like Christmas coming on, we're like, we should go see some good movies. So I liked Zootopia 1. So I'm like, let's go watch Zootopia 2. It looks good, right? Yeah. Big mistake. So I saw Zootopia, and the whole time I'm just crashing out. Like, I'm seriously sitting there with my wife, like, can you believe that? And she's like, what? Like, I'm like, no, like, are you not seeing this? Right? And I'll get to it. Then a week later, we go to David, and the contrast couldn't be more stark watching the two side by side, just the ideologies that are being taught. And it's subtle, but if you know what's going on, it's just like, it's so obvious what is being taught and how dangerous it is. If I were to watch Zootopia once a week in my home as my children grow up, that's a worldview that's going to mess with them when they get older. Versus David. And that's why I called you. I'm like, we got to talk about this.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And then when you just sent me this text, I kind of started to do some searches on how well each of these films did. And if you want to pull up that first X link, this is actually from Box Office, Global Box Office.
Crazy.
And it says the biblical adaptation David is officially the #1 animated film in America this weekend, beating both SpongeBob and Zootopia 2. It opened to $22.1 million, the biggest opening for...
Oh, sorry.
The biggest opening for an Angel Studios movie, confirming that what we said earlier this week, King is back to the throne.
Hey, check it out.
That's awesome.
Wild.
And so
Wild.
obviously there's subliminal messaging in pretty much every piece of media that is put out. Everything that we do on the Stick of Joseph, there's subliminal messaging and stuff.
It's social engineering. It's deeper than just subliminal at this point. It's very, very clear what the people are trying to do.
Yeah. And so that super clip that I put together at the beginning, very begrudgingly, and it was hard for me to put together, but those are examples of, I feel like, a little more overt messaging to children, right? Of a very specific ideology that is anti-Christian. And so help me understand kind of your thoughts, maybe Zootopia 1, like, was there any subliminal messaging that you saw with that?
So Zootopia 2 comes out, and first of all, furries, no, I'm just kidding. No, it's witty. It's great animation, and it's witty, and you know, like, so you're going there, and it's somewhat enjoyable, right? A lot of the themes seem to be subversive, but there are some things that were just on the nose the entire time. One of them is the whole plot is about systemic issues in the system, about over prejudice and sort of like race, or you could look at critical theory perhaps.
And you're talking Zootopia 1.
Zootopia 2. This is Zootopia 2.
Okay.
So the whole plot, and it reminded me of Frozen 2. I mean, why am I even going to these movies anymore? I feel like I should be learning. But it's always the same plot. Frozen 2, same thing, where it's like, hey, our ancestors were actually evil, and the founding of our society is based on a lie and systemic kind of prejudice against this other group. And so we need to like denounce our ancestors. And a very similar theme going on in Zootopia 2, where that's kind of the whole thing. But you know, if you don't know the context or the culture or the history or whatever, you could maybe watch the movie and enjoy it and have maybe a different takeaway. At the very end of the movie, he gives a monologue, and I'll read it to you, and I'll see if you kind of capture what you think.
Okay.
The overall.
I haven't seen either of these movies.
Okay. So he says, well, there's a lot of different animals out there. Sometimes we start to look at all the little reasons we're not the same, and it makes us worry. But maybe if we talk to each other, if we just try to understand one another, we would see that our differences don't really make any difference at all. Not too bad. Not too bad.
No, that seems reasonable.
I like it, right?
Yeah.
The last sentence here. Maybe we'd even see that what makes me, me, and you, can make us even stronger. And again, not too bad.
Yeah.
But the climax of the movie, the principle, if you could sum it up in one word, what would you say? What are they teaching? The fix to all of society's problems, all these systemic problems we've been going over in this very deep plot. Tolerance. Tolerance. Now, the problem with that is if tolerance is the cure to all of society's problems, now all of a sudden, my beliefs are intolerant. The Family Proclamation, based on moral, objective truth, if I share that publicly, openly, I'm intolerant, right? And so the tolerance is a great principle we need to teach to our children. But when it's taught in this way, as this is going to solve all of our big problems that we've been dealing with in this movie, all of society's problems, if we were just more tolerant, we wouldn't have had this issue. Now all of a sudden we drift from moral truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I can see it becoming problematic because a lot of times this tolerance ideology and movement is really acceptable in one way, right?
Yes.
It's not being tolerant of Christian values and Christian ideals, but of things that are a lot of times the antithesis of that. So I guess if that is the overarching thing, it conditions children probably to side with what these ideologues want, is this kind of one-way tolerance of, you know, like it showed in that one clip, getting rid of the old royal rule book and writing your own, and just allowing all of these other new age ideas that are in many cases very antithetical to Christian values.
And it's like that same monologue I could share in a completely different context, completely different book, and it could teach beautiful things. But when you put it on the backdrop of systemic issues based on like the old rule book, let's say, because it's a similar theme in every, and when tolerance is that golden standard that's going to fix everything, I don't know. It worries me. It's just a few degrees off, but it worries me that now all of a sudden moral truth isn't the golden standard. It's tolerance. I don't know.
No, and I can see how it has just enough truth in there that would concern you as a father.
Right.
I'm curious with like the other things that happen in the movie. Is it further reinforced that there is some sort of specific agenda or something like that being displayed throughout?
The thing that was on the nose is that it just felt very true to like what's going on in the real world. I don't think this is as overt of an agenda as the other things, right? As the other clips that you showed. But if I were, it's certainly missing the mark for me. Certainly missing the mark for me, where it's like, this is great, but moral conflict is not inherently dangerous. And just your truth and my truth shouldn't be the overarching theme of the end monologue of the movie. If it's like, you have your truth, I have my truth, let's be nice to each other. It's like, yes, I agree, but if my kids grow up with that worldview as their main thing, that's the golden standard, that's therapeutic deism, that's feelings matter more than truth. And now all of a sudden, like if I'm watching that once a week, I worry about that messaging, even though it's subtle. It's like, yes, we need to teach tolerance. Absolutely. But so, and maybe you have to watch the movie to see all the other things they were pointing out. And then it was just weird to me to see all these big social issues, prejudice being discussed. And then you end on this deep monologue of, why can't we all just be more tolerant?
So then going from, did you see that one first and then David, or David?
And then I saw David, and then I saw David.
So tell me the contrast in what that experience was like.
David was beautiful. So first of all, I've never seen a movie quite like it with so much temple and ritual in it. It was beautiful.
Really? I
was so hyped. I'm like, are you kidding? My children are going to see this.
Yeah.
And they're going to remember this, and they're going to know what's going on from the Bible. I loved it. So beautiful rituals going on, happy families. It was a musical. Animation was on par with Disney. There were scenes that reminded me of like Dune or Lord of the Rings, like just these super epic like moments.
Wow.
Healthy role models for men, which, when's the last time we had a male hero that was like a good dude?
Yeah.
But here's some of the lyrics that were taught. I love it. I love it. Some of the lyrics and the messaging here. Run toward adventure. That's super healthy for young men. Grow up, run toward adventure, right? If you want the secret to freedom and feeling alive, follow the light. Instead of rules are oppressive, let's throw out the old handbook.
Yeah.
It's follow the light if you want to be free. Rules actually help us. Not rules, but the Bible certainly, right? A great message for kids. I'm lost and afraid, but I remember what my mother used to say, shalom, which means peace. That, I about cried when I heard that. Like, yes, I remember what my mother used to say, as opposed to Disney's Zootopia, and it shows the FaceTime call with their mom, and it's like, oh, they're the awkward parents who don't really know what's going on, and the dad's kind of rude to the mom, and it's kind of funny. It's like, if you want to see how the writers of David feel about their parents versus how the millennial writers of Zootopia feel about their parents, just look at how they portray parents in the media. It's subtle. It's so subtle. Yeah, my parents can be awkward, but I love and deeply respect them, and I honor them. And that doesn't come across in the movies quite like it did in David. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I Will Not Be Afraid is another one. I don't know. I'm hyped on David, guys. I'm hyped on David.
Yeah, and one of the things that showed me, that first little thing on X from Global Box Office, is that there is a yearning for Christian content out there. There is a yearning for the type of content that points you to the light and not to the popular values or narratives that are happening in the world. It's so refreshing to see that, and it's awesome. We've talked about on previous episodes how kind of the rebellious thing to do nowadays is be a church-going Christian and have a bunch of kids.
Yeah,
like that's a rebellious thing to do nowadays. And I'm curious, I guess, in your house, besides like things like this awesome resource right here, how do you go about teaching your kids? I mean, I'm keep going back to this example of that cringe supercut, them throwing out the rule book, and that essentially the idea that commandments are restrictive and they prevent you from being who you actually are. What are some things that you do to teach your children about the commandments and about the gospel and why it is awesome to follow?
I was talking to my good friend Jonah Barnes recently, right? He had a family home evening about therapeutic deism. It's one of the ideologies that it's very prevalent in America, especially among youth. Kind of these core beliefs about God that are not based in necessarily truth. They're more vague spiritualism. One of them might be defined as like feelings are kind of above all else. So God's purpose for me is to feel good, right? And you can see how that could be very dangerous. Where feelings, it's kind of this therapy gospel, right? And so he teaches his children about this at family home evening, and then he says, look for it in your movies. Now, your homework is we're going to watch movies and look for it all over. I think that's one approach, is when you're watching and consuming media, because you're going to be consuming media that just, it's not quite aligned with what you believe constantly. And just point it out. Just help others see. It's like, look, this is great. Love the movie. It's fun. But can you see how they took God out of this? For example, I was watching, we were watching Finest Hours. And it wasn't with my kids. I was watching it with my wife. And with some friends, we were watching Finest Hours. It's this movie about like the Coast Guard, and they go rescue this. And it's this miraculous story. And I'm like, I just couldn't shake the feeling like they changed the story. They had to change the story. This seems like a biblical miracle. And so I look it up. Sure enough, they removed the part about God and about prayer and about this and about that from the story. And I just say point it out. Just point it out as you're going through media and watching it. Be aware of what ideologies are being taught so that you can counter them. And if you want to hack to really avoid this stuff, just watch the movies that you watched growing up rather than the new stuff coming out. Lion King is fantastic. It's remember who you are. Yes. And David had a scene quite like that. But you can't beat that. And it's scary when you see us. When you take God out of it, you have to replace it with something like be kind and be tolerant, which again, it seems nice, it seems wonderful, but it's missing the mark.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And we actually, Brandon, when did we do that episode where I talked about Braveheart and other stories about sacrifice?
It was
I think last Monday. Yeah, last Monday. So yeah, because I think the stories that resonate with us the most and that are so impactful are stories that are like types of Christ or different biblical teachings and stuff like that. And we talked about a few of them. And I think it's so important to have that kind of subliminal messaging for our kids in entertainment, like The Lion King. It's so good. But yeah, this narrative that goes around nowadays that Christian values aren't good and that they're restrictive, it's so frustrating to me. And I actually saw that, going from being a kid to kind of more of an adult when I was in Marine Corps boot camp, when people, like, first off, right off the bat, if you don't cuss, like, you set yourself apart pretty soon and people start asking questions, right? And I think it was day 2 that I got asked by like 4 people, like, are you a Mormon? And I'm like, why do you ask? They're like, well, you don't like cuss and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that only Mormons don't cuss. But then they would proceed to ask me more questions like, oh, so you can't drink alcohol or you can't have premarital sex? And I would always be like, no, dude, are you kidding me? I drink as much alcohol as I possibly want. I have as much premarital sex with my girlfriend as much as I want. It's amazing. And they're like, oh, okay. So like, what's your favorite drink? I'm like, oh, I don't drink. And they're like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, I don't do that. That's stupid. And I basically tell them, I'm like, dude, the commandments of God are so wonderful because they're not this thing, do not do. It's, hey, this is a better life, and this is why. It is teaching you a higher standard to live and the blessings that you will be able to enjoy and the pitfalls that you will be able to avoid. And because I have that teaching from a youth of the detriment of falling into a life of, substances and like premarital sex and stuff like that, and what I would be forgoing if I didn't indulge in that stuff, I no longer desire to live a life like that. And so it's so free, and it's exactly what Jesus is saying in the New Testament, that you will learn the truth and the truth shall set you free, is because once you have an understanding of why these are eternal principles and it's better for us to live them, then we no longer have these strong we no longer want to give in to these desires of the natural man, if that makes sense.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think?
Right. No, I think it's true. Especially children need to hear. They need to see the examples. They need. I mean, in the book, and you guys helped me with this page. This was the page we changed the most when we were going back and forth. It's that section on where they're holding up the protest signs. It's my son's favorite page. He's always like, "What do the signs say?" He wants to read all the protesters, the angry people, and it says, "Commandments are mean." And then read that right page on the right-hand side.
This is good. Okay, so you got some protesters here saying commandments are mean. Why get married? And then on the right side, it says, new voices now question what's timeless and true. They say what God taught us no longer will do. Don't waste time with kids, the loud voices shout. Chase comfort and money. That's what life's about. And then you have a picture here. Motherhood is oppressive. We want change.
There are so many ideologies in that page. There's probably 5 that we tried to highlight that are counter to Christ. Maybe not in that they're just inherently evil right up front, but when taken too far, right?
Yeah.
There's so many ideologies that miss the mark when taken too far. And we tried to highlight them on that page to just remind us, like, life isn't about this. It's not about avoiding discomfort. It's not about chasing money. It's about family. It's about these kind of higher rules and laws. And I love that you're pointing that out with following commandments, even to like your buddies. They're not children, though Marines may act that way at times. Yeah. I can't comment. I haven't met very many. But you're pointing that out. This is the proper way to look at commandments, authority, rules, in more of a scriptural sense.
Yeah. And if you didn't think that teaching kids the truth is all that important and all that of a priority, think back to when Jesus Christ in the Book of Mormon came down to visit the Nephites. One of the first things that he did when he was teaching is he brought all the little children around him, and it said angels circled round about and they ministered unto them. And there's this awesome verse in Isaiah chapter 54. If Brando, you want to pull up scripture notes there. In verse 13 of Isaiah 54, it says, and all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. I am so pumped for one day to be a father and to teach these eternal truths to my children. And I'm also kind of stressed because, I mean, I guess this example of David coming out is a step in the right direction, that media is... Hopefully they can see that the world is hungry for this and more stuff like that comes out. I'd be curious, going back and watching the things that you watched as a kid with your dad eyes, do you see any subliminal messaging?
I recently have developed some issue with The Little Mermaid, for example.
How so?
Don't
ruin
I'm not gonna ruin The Little Mermaid for you. I'm not gonna ruin it too much for you.
Okay.
But here's the thing: is it's always just subtle, and it's like as long as we can just point it out. Like there's wonderful and especially in the classical story Little Mermaid, which is much darker. But I've heard, for example, like Jordan Peterson talk on it, and it's cool when you like dive into literature of some of these old stories. But The Little Mermaid, right? It is a Christ story in a way. There's always a Christ story in every story. And who's the father? Who's God? Who's authority? It's her father, which she very quickly disobeys, and then ends up getting what she wants ultimately and feeling good. And there's not really a lot of consequence for disobeying her father in the end.
Yeah.
I think there's some problems to the narrative there of maybe it is promoting sort of an ideology of the old school establishment rules, which is good. It's a good story. Like, we need to tell that story. We have to be very careful with it. And so I would just say, like, yeah, as you're watching it, like, this part of it is good. Yes, maybe you do come from a family that's a little bit too, we'll even use the term patriarchal. Or that's a little bit too, misogynistic or whatever it may be.
Tyrannical type leadership.
Tyrannical. Unrighteous dominion, which was covered very well in David. But be careful when you remove the consequence. Or be careful when you, I don't know. And I'm still working through my thought. When I see a movie now, I just, rather than just enjoying it, I ruin every movie. Because I just want to know, what does it teach? What does it teach? Lion King is unimpeachable. The Incredibles, unimpeachable. There's some out there that are just phenomenal. And then others, it's just like, okay, this is good, but is there a few degrees where I might, when we watch it, just comment?
Yeah.
I don't know. Cut that out. Cut out The Little Mermaid. Don't make me look bad, Brandon. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up.
No, parents are always out of touch in movies. Like that is
parent
is the what's the word? Like the quintessential parent in Disney movies is they're out of touch and wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
So for those of you that don't have great hearing, Hayden is saying that the basically archetypal parent that is portrayed in Disney movies is very out of touch, not in the know, and wrong. And so that's kind of a troubling subliminal messaging. But yeah, no, I just watched. Have you seen the new Knives Out movie?
Oh, no.
You should watch that.
Okay, good.
It's really good. Great twist at the end.
Okay.
But it's kind of centered around these two different Catholic priests. And it's interesting. I want to talk to you after you watch that and see what kind of the lasting message that you get from that movie in regards to people that follow Jesus Christ or are Catholic.
It's in nearly every movie.
Yep.
And so nothing is safe. And just as you watch movies, just point it out. Wonka, one of my favorite movies. My kids love that movie. Just keep in mind that they were intentional about making the villains the church, the police, and the and entrepreneurs. Those are the villains in the movie. Just be aware of it. You can still enjoy movies. I still love The Little Mermaid, but just be aware of the messaging that these millennials who hate their parents in Hollywood are putting into movies. Just be aware of it.
Interesting. Well, we've given you a lot of content to comment about, and if you guys disagree with anything shared here, if you've seen these two movies or one of the two, go ahead and share your comments below. Do you agree? Are there some troubling messages that are conveyed, or do you disagree and you think that we're reading into it too hard? But before we finish, Austin, any last words that you'd have our audience leave with?
I need to stop talking before everyone hates me. I'm not.
No, this is important stuff to talk about, and I'm glad you came on, and I'm glad that you are the publisher of A Children's Introduction to Pride, the inspirational history and culture of the LGBTQIA+ community. But rather, you decide to publish some truth, some base knowledge for your kids. And if you want to get your very own copy of The Family, A Rhyming Proclamation for Kids, go ahead and click the link in the description below of Little Saints Books and get yours now. But let us know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, remember, if you're not looking at the world through a gospel lens, you're only getting half the story. God bless you.